The 1st of April is a significant date in terms of what is required of funeral directors in terms of submitting certain information to the CMA, but also making sure that you have kept certain pieces of information that you hold up to date. So on the 1st of April, that's going to be the deadline for those funeral directors with 5 or more branches to submit information to the CMA, which is information on the number of funerals that you've done and also your revenue over the period leading up to that date. Check with our guidance to see the details of that, but it is important that you submit that information to the CMA by the 1st of April at the very latest. Secondly, for all funeral directors who are keeping a register of charitable donations, as you're now required to do under the order if you are making charitable donations, again, the 1st of April is the date that you must make sure that your register is up to date. So very, very important that you do that. And I think while you're doing that, I think it's important that you look at the information that you've got on your website and the posters that you've got up in your branches to check that all the price information on there is up to date, and in particular that information that you have received from crematoria about their price increases and so on, because you only have a limited amount of time from receiving that information from a crematoria to actually updating your posters. So do check on that. I think that's important. On compliance more generally with the CMA order, we are still aware that we have got some members out there who are not complying with the order. In some cases, I think this is just simple misinterpretations as to what the order requires, and we can certainly help you and work with you and advise you on what you need to do to comply. But there are still some who have done nothing, and that is really, really worrying. The CMA to date has been taking a very supportive approach in terms of helping funeral directors comply. We're expecting them to publish a compliance report next month. Now, we will be very, very concerned if that shows high levels of non-compliance, because that might mean that the CMA come back and do something much, much more draconian than the order currently requires. And I don't think that's in anyone's interest for that to happen. But secondly, I do think we will start to see a bit of a step change in terms of what they're doing in terms of enforcement action. And it's worth remembering that the CMA do have quite strong enforcement powers. They can take you to court, they can get a court order to force you to comply. And if you then fail to comply with that court order, that could result in an unlimited fine or imprisonment. So it's very, very serious that you do comply. To date, the CMA has not gone down that sort of road, but I think it's only a matter of time before they do change their approach.